thank you all for being here tonight. That was a reception for 3 of our personnel that are leaving us. We want to wish them the best. Once again, I thank you personally. Also, want to thank your crew. Is that Ron?
Yes.
Okay.
Lisa.
Those that was involved in the chow, or in the cookies, that's not chow, but I even like their cookies. Chow. Those that was, yeah, I can tell they cooked them probably earlier this morning. They were very good though. So we want to thank Rhonda, Lisa, and those that helped get the reception together. We have great people here at City Hall, and we appreciate Pastor Dobbs being here. Our ministers are very integral. If you guys have seen lately, there's been some discussion in Oklahoma, of all places, on who is going to pray at meetings. So our ministers are very important to us to keep us able to do that and to stay inside the letter of the law, if not the intent, but the letter. And so we appreciate Brother Dobbs being here to voice our prayer. And we'll let Mr. Marcy say our Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Dobbs.
Father, we thank you for this day that you have blessed us with. And we realize that in you, Lord, that we live and move and have our being. And we come to you tonight asking for your guidance and for your direction in our lives daily. And tonight in this council meeting, it looks like, Lord, there's a lot on the agenda. It looks like there's a lot of decisions to be made. And we pray for your wisdom. Help us, Lord, to trust in you, as your word says, with all of our heart. And lean not upon our own understanding, but in all of our ways to acknowledge you and let you direct our path. Father, we all want a good community, and we realize that a lot of decisions that are made here helps to make a difference in the community that we live in. So we pray that you'll give us all good judgment, wisdom, help us to rely upon you. Bless this meeting to your glory, we pray. In Christ's name, amen.
Please join me in our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will go ahead and open up the regular meeting of the Clinton Airport Authority and entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Trustee Hudlin?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes, I have a couple of action items. Consider recommendation from Cobb Engineering regarding reconstruction of hangar aprons at the regional airport. Steve, give us an overview on this.
Council, you opened the bids on the last meeting. The low bid Circle S paving met all the requirements. We recommend the base bid of $353,081.30. And we do not recommend the alternates, which actually are T-ducts. So we have enough in the funding in the budget to do the entire project as originally spec'd.
Any questions or comments from council regarding this particular action item? Any questions or comments from anyone in the audience related to this particular action item? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve this as brought to us. I'll so move.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Hudlin?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Consider airport manager agreement with Western Oklahoma Aviation LLC. Comes up pretty regularly. Steve?
Well, Council, Tracy Yoder's contract with Western Oklahoma Aviation is up basically. We recommended a 3-year contract and working with her over the last couple of months really on this particular contract. A few changes that I think are good for the city. The city will take over the fuel and hangar rentals. We built in a CPI for Ms. Yoder, adjusted the price of her contract based on what we're going to take over, and it is a 3-year contract. And Ryan has reviewed it, and we recommend approval tonight. And Ms. Yoder is in the audience if you'd like to visit with her.
I've got a question. I looked. Currently, we're paying a management fee of $47.50 a month. Is that accurate?
That's the current fee, yes.
And so we're going to be increasing the management fee about $1,500 a month.
Right, But you have to understand now that we are gonna get revenue from hangar rentals, 100%, and we're gonna take all the profits from the fuel that we're paying, she was paying a flow fee and taking the profits, so that's been switched. So we're gonna take those, we'll cover our additional costs from that. So that's why you're seeing that increase to her contract, but we'll see that back in those two items.
So we had not been getting the hang.
Percentage of the hangar rental, not 100%. We will take 100% of the hangar rental out.
So basically, what increase that she's getting is what we're picking up at this rate.
I mean, a CPI increase is involved, but yes, basically, she'll get what she was getting and the CPI increase, but we will now take the fuel, additional fuel. Our goal, obviously, in the future is to increase with Jet A and some things in the future, but right now, we'll continue with our regular fueling, and we will take 100% of the hangar.
Any other questions, or anyone on the council? Any questions from anyone in the audience related to this contract? Ms. Yoder, would you like to say anything?
No, I just appreciate it.
Chief's teaching you bad things. You hide out back there in the corner. I was going, oh, she's got to be here.
No, for those that don't know you, know me, I'm Tracy Yoder. So the airport is out by the towards the casino and then north of that. So I'd love to have you anytime.
I know from the people who fly that Tracy is a very popular person, and I think she does a great job. I think that reflects well on the city of Clinton. Any questions from anyone in the audience? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion, and if you would make it in the affirmative or negative related to this proposal.
Make a motion to approve the new contract, basically.
Second.
Trustee Marcy?
Yeah.
Trustee Rhoda?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes. Moving on to the city manager's report for the Clinton Airport Authority.
Nothing that we'll be bringing you updates with the project. We'll have a pre-bid conference, and then a pre-construction conference, and then we'll get to see those documents again. We'll bring you up to speed in future meetings on that particular project as well as the OEC project when it comes forward. That's it.
Any questions or comments related to the Airport Authority from anyone in the audience? This will be your opportunity. If you have a comment for the Airport Authority, if you have one in a general nature, we will have a place later on under the City of Clinton for just general comments or questions. Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Clinton Airport Authority.
Second.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rhoda?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Moving on to the regular meeting of the Clinton Public Works Authority, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rhoda?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes. First action item, consider bids on agricultural lease of approximately 200 acres near the wastewater treatment plant.
We have one bid.
This bid is submitted by Meacham Farms. Bid amount $4,350 per year for a 5-year lease. And that is from Meacham Farms. And I see Mr. Kirk Meacham back there in the back. I saw him one day getting a haircut, and he had a hat on and dark glasses, and I didn't recognize him. So I recognize him this time. I'm not gonna hi-hat him again. Any questions or comments related to this? Any council?
Was the previous lease 5 years too?
Any questions or comments from the audience? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to accept this bid on our land.
I move we accept the
I second.
Trustee Rhoda?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes. Appreciate that. Back up. Go forward to the next action item, consider supplemental budget for Clinton Public Works Authority. Steve.
Council, you saw a couple of these in previous meetings. I'm gonna turn it over to Deborah Blanchard, our city treasurer, to walk you through a lot of this to do with water sales and items you're walking through.
As we brought those to you a few weeks ago, I didn't quite get it close enough on the sales taxes. Our sales tax came in again this time. And the Public Works Authority is involved with the required pledging of that sales tax to those bond issues. This is a matter of increasing again the sales tax that came in a little bit higher against the transfer back out to get those appropriations correct. I also did increase, the water revenues have come in higher, a little bit higher, so I needed to cover the purchases that we're making that are higher. And then also the action that was taken by council maybe a couple meetings ago to do the repairs of the wastewater treatment plant. Excess wastewater revenues that we have collected, I needed to appropriate a little bit of those funds to cover those expenditures we needed to make out there to make repairs. So that's what these are.
Any questions from anyone on the council of either Deborah or Steve? Questions from anyone in the audience related to this particular action item? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve the supplemental budget of Clinton Public Works Authority.
Second.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Hewland?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Moving on to the next action item. This will be consider amendment to Severn Trent Environmental Services Incorporated to the contract. Steve, you want to give us a little overview of what we talked about this?
Yeah, council, the Severn Trent contract included, it had a chemical formula that was very cumbersome, and in fact, actually very confusing to the point where, based on the usage of 1 year, going to the next year, based on how much the water plant was being used, they could increase their contract. And on chemicals, and the usage of Clinton Lake was drastically higher last summer, and then basically it's not being used at all. So that formula needed to be changed. So what we sat down with them, we asked a change in the contract based on, we believe the scope had changed with our water situation. So we'd like to take that clause out. They agreed to that. There was some language we were hoping to get in there. Spoke to Dave Gentry and his staff briefly this afternoon, and they don't have their upper management final approval. But we'd like some additional items, as you can see in my commentary, based on, to clarify some things, is what they'll take care of, what we'll take care of, gas, telephone, internet, removed from that contract, as well as changing the scope when it changes. That was a lot of it. I've talked to David today, that basically it was configured on usage and the chemicals. They're taking a second look at that and reviewing our language that me and Ryan submitted to them. So I do not want you to approve with just simply what is in the packet tonight. We're going to bring this back to you the next meeting with some additional changes. And unless you want to, but we would not recommend it tonight as you see it. We would like to have some additional changes that protect the city and hopefully adjust for future scope changes that could come, and we can negotiate rather than just waiting 3 years of changes. Did I get that right, Ryan? That's basically what we're trying to, because currently what they have now is we'd have to see 3 years of drastic changes before we could see a drop in the contract. Well, if we have drastic changes like we had this year, we don't have the ability to go back and visit the contract and reduce the scope down rather than increasing it. And this would simply be a CPI increase each year based on our base bid, right, our base contract, instead of having this very cumbersome formula, which I gotta be honest with you, it was confusing to our staff, and it was hard to read, and I think it was actually unfair. And so I want to change that, and they are agreeing to change some of that. So I would ask you to table this based on some language that we're working on, and we'll bring it back to you the first meeting in July, unless you have any questions.
Do you want this formally tabled, or do you just let it drop and bring it back?
No, I didn't drop it. We wanted to bring it up, hoping maybe I would have feedback, agreement tonight, but no.
Any questions based on this information for the city manager from the council?
He's got one first.
Can we expect some kind of decrease in the appropriations? I mean, since the water treatment facility is no longer being used on a yearly basis, month after month after month, can we expect some type of a savings from that, or is that?
That is part of what we're talking about. I mean, not this year, but when there are major scope changes in their operations, can we ask for a decrease? We still need to maintain a certain DEQ level, and that's what they're doing right now, and I think that's what the current contract requires. What we are asking is part of this, is that because it has changed, and because you know, this chemical formula they were trying to predict, and they try to predict the future, and then based on last year's usage, we want that out of there, because we do, because of the erratic different usage that's happening at that facility, we do not want that in there. So we're trying to at least streamline this, a much more direct contract that's only CPI. But you're correct in what you're asking, that we're asking for some language that does protect us. If we would just simply take it offline more than we are now, can we ask for a decrease? Where that's, right now we can't, correct? It says 3 years. We're asking for that language to change because of what's happened, and that's what we're trying to negotiate.
And this contract is up when?
This is a,
Is it just about
I'm
up now?
sorry, I believe this is a 5-year contract.
And it's how much more time?
We
is
were,
it?
this is our first year.
Oh, so we're not gonna adjust rates much for 4 more years, is that basically right?
Well, they had a formula based on CPI, based on chemical. Now it's just based on CPI. We're asking for a change based on if the change, if at the facility we see a change in operations, a drastic change of more than 25%, then we would like to see that reduction. That fair to say?
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
If it's not being operated, then I know you have to have someone there to do some things, but it shouldn't be the same. They shouldn't get the same income they get if it's running full bore, in my opinion.
And that's what we're trying to negotiate that. I was hoping to have an answer back tonight, I do not, but we're expecting something back in a week.
Any other questions by council related to this particular item?
On table this and just drop it.
Either one, I'll bring it back to you, I promise. But you can table it, it needs to come back to you. We were not budgeting, we were budgeting the base amount with CPI, we're not budgeting their chemical equation they brought to us.
Well, I agree, we need to figure out some way to get it reduced. Some move we table it, bring it back. I've heard.
I'll second.
Trustee Randall?
Yes.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Trustee Smith and Chairman.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to the city manager's report for the Public Works Authority.
Basically, all I have is just a quick water update, which we try to get that every week, every 2 weeks to you. Still looking at wells, still working with the PEC. We'll have a report back to you in 2 weeks. Continue that effort. Haven't seen any moisture at Glen Lake, so I don't have anything to report at that point. But as you know, the wells test holes at Acme tested too hard to treat, and we've run into some roadblocks at other wells too. But we continue to look at options via calls. We're going beyond local scope areas, moving out beyond a few miles, and really looking for water in some of the local aquifers that we're seeing other communities tap into. So I'll have more information in 2 weeks, but that's a quick update.
Any questions for the city manager from the council? Under audience participation, if you have a question or comment related to the Public Works Authority, this will be the part to ask that question. If it's a general question, we'll have that time later on in the city, under the city regular meeting. Don't see any, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Clinton Public Works Authority.
So moved.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Randall?
Yes.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
And Chairman.
Yes, moving on. We'll open up the regular meeting of the Clinton Industrial Authority and entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Randall?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman.
Yes. Consider bids on fire station construction. First one we're opening up is Miller Tippins Construction Company out of Oklahoma City. Okay. base bid is $3,990,000. $3,990,000. $3,990,000 and no cents. Alternate number 1 is $198,000 even, 198,000. Alternate number 2, which is, I guess I could tell you that the first additional apparatus base stall in room 131 was alternate 1. Alternate 2, spray polyurethane foam insulation, $72,000 even, 72 and 3 zeros. Alternate 3, dyed concrete fire department logo in lobby 101, that is $1,300, $1,300. Alternate 4, lighting protection system is $25,000 even, 25,000. Alternate 5, sliding automatic entrances, $14,000 even, 140,000. And do the schedule of completion.
Yes.
It's just number of calendar days on our form.
Number of calendar days, 350, 350. AUI Contractors LLC would be the next one we'll open up. The base bid is $3,524,000 even, 3,524,000. $3,524,000. Alternate number 1, $176,800, 176,800. Alternate 2, $101,100, 101,100. Alternate 3, $2,100, 2,100. Alternate 4, $23,900, 23,900. And alternate 5, $19,400, 19,400. Contractor proposes to complete scope of work in 315 calendar days.
No, I didn't.
Yes, let me go over here and we'll get a little bit more. This is AUI Contractors LLC. And that is listed here. Their address is out of Fort Worth, Texas. Next one we'll open up is Reader General Contractors, Oklahoma City. Base bid, $3,850,000 even, 3,850,000. Alternate number 1, $160,000, 160,000. Alternate 2 has $0.
What's that? Does that mean they're going to charge or not going to do it?
Zero, yeah. That was for the spray polyurethane foam insulation. Alternate 3, $1,500, $1,500, 1,500. Alternate 4, lighting protection system, $25,000, 25,000. And alternate 5, $10,500, 10,500. Contractor proposes to complete scope of work in 300 calendar days from receipt of notice to proceed, so 300 days. Next one we'll open up is Mega Contractors Incorporated, Fort Worth, Texas. base bid, $3,299,337. $3,299,337. So $3,299,337. Alternate number one, $190,000. 190,000. $190,000 for alternate one. Alternate two, $25,000. 25000. Alternate three, $5,500. $5,500. 5500. Alternate four, $18,000. 18000. Alternate five, $15,000 and no cents. 15000. And contractors estimate 300 calendar days from receipt of notice to proceed. 300 calendar days. Crossland Construction Company, and this company is out of Columbus, Kansas. The base bid, $3,804,000. 3804000. That is your base bid. Alternate one, $240,000. 240000. Alternate number two, $25,000. 25 and 000. 25,000 even. Alternate three, $2,100. 2,100. 2100. Alternate four, $25,000. 25000. 25,000. And alternate five, $18,200. 18200. And as these calendar days, 270 on schedule of completion. Normally our policy is to refer to staff, and I know these are voluminous that we've got. So,
Yeah, we want to review them with the architect, bring you back a recommendation and look at some things, a couple of weeks.
be appropriate to entertain a bid to refer these to staff for a recommendation at a future meeting.
I move that we refer these 5 bids to staff. Staff recommends that's what they want to do.
Trustee Rodoff?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Bueller?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Very excitedly, yes.
Thank you, everybody.
That's
Yes.
what I was sitting here. It is nice. 5 bids. We appreciate the effort. I know not everybody's going to be successful, and a lot of times you come from a distance to be present, and so we appreciate it. I think it's a kindness that contractors take these things and try to be the successful bid, realizing they're going to put a lot of effort into it and possibly not be that. So we appreciate all the effort in all 5 bids and look forward to working with the one that staff recommends to us. And I would say, I try to tell people all the time, when you go home, please be careful. So some cases it's a long, tiring drive after a city council meeting, so do be careful. We appreciate it. Let's see, we'll send.
No, we just, we'll work with architects and staff, and we'll get a game plan, bring it back to you for approval. We're excited about the fact we're going to be part of this.
Next action item, consider acceptance and transfer of property to the industrial authority. I know this is on. Doesn't matter. Y'all be careful. Thank you for being here. I know that it's out of the city.
Well, yeah, we can talk about it here, and then you can accept it, maybe you can change the council.
Any questions related to this? It's a piece of property that I think the staff has some idea of what they'd like to use it, do with it.
I'll just say, Bob Leonard and Bobby Ingram in the audience, and Bobby called me. Not sure what their future is, but the Mission House, they're very busy, and they're looking for plan and talked to us about this property. It's not being utilized by the city. We would think it'd be more than appropriate to work with them on a possible plan. So if you see fit in the council to transfer it over, we can do a quick claim deed in-house from the council to the industrial authority, then work with the mission house on a future plan, how they want to proceed. It's going to take some time, and they're here to answer questions, but we think it's be a good partnership to help them in the future.
Would you gentlemen, did you want to speak? If you get an opportunity here, if you'd like, you're more than welcome to address the council.
Well, we just like to express a strong interest in that piece of land. We know that at some point in the future, probably within the fairly near future, we're going to have to replace the building that we're in, our shelter. It's 88, 90 years old, and it's a wood building. We're very grateful to have it. Dr. Tizzle was a great help to us, donating that to the mission house back in the mid-80s. And it's been very useful, but eventually we're going to have to replace it. And so we anticipate that could happen next 5 to 10 years, maybe sooner. We're very fearful of the fire. That building is very combustible. If it should burn down, then our need would become immediate. But if it does not burn down, we're still going to have to replace it sometime in the next few years, and we would much appreciate an opportunity to obtain that piece of land. It'd be the ideal place for us to build.
Anything else? No? Questions or comments from council related to this? We will accept it here pending transfer and approval into the city. Any questions or comments from anyone in the audience related to this item? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion, make it in the affirmative.
I move we accept the transfer of this property to the city.
I'll second it.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes, I think it's, we need a safety net. We work with several different groups, but some of us are blessed. I don't miss any meals, but some people are not as blessed. So we need a safety net. I
We
think.
feed a lot of them
Yeah, that's,
every day.
yeah. So we appreciate what is done at the city mission. I look forward to when you have a new building. I think that'll be great. City manager's report for the Clinton Industrial Authority.
Real small report. Had an opportunity to meet with the chamber board last week. As you know, in this authority, the chamber will be taking over operations full-time at the Frisco Center. And I think we've got a good partnership there. Look forward to the future, working with them on marketing and that operational plan. So I had a good conversation. We'll continue to work with them very closely on that facility.
Under audience participation, any questions or comments related to the industrial authority? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Trustee Marcy? Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes, moving on to the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilman Huber?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Consider and adopt resolution 803 approving the proposed fiscal year 12-13 budget beginning July 1st, 2012, ending June 30, 2013. Bounce into that, we've put a lot of effort into this, Steve.
Well, as presented to you, and we had the budget posted and publicized in our local media and had our public hearing. This is the final procedure to make our budget finalized, and we'll send that off to the state and hit that file once approved.
Questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from anyone in the audience related to this particular action item? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve and adopt.
I have one. I'd like to make one amendment to the budget. with Steve's permission, I talked with Deborah this afternoon. And currently, we had budgeted in the Industrial Authority and in the Public Works Authority funds to cover insurance costs for council members. I do not accept the insurance provisions. Jason doesn't accept that. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this budget, but deducting the insurance for Ward 1 and Ward 2 and the mayor after January 1st. That's my motion.
I don't know, you may know, Don, how long is, have the authorities paid for insurance for?
Probably 20 years.
20 years. And for people who don't know, people always, when I got elected mayor, I had several people tell me, well, are you going to continue to do taxes? For $75 a month, I continue to do taxes. So, you know, I don't have a feeling either way, but I do know there are, when you pick up some self-employed people, it is a benefit.
Well, if whoever gets elected wants them requested at that time.
I mean, like I said, it's one way or another. I would assume this is an amendment we're voting on. We'll be addressing here in a second that Councilman Rodolph has brought forward. Any comments from anyone else on the council related to this request, proposed amendment?
Well, this is the insurance I have, so I want to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, I left it in, you know.
I understand.
Yeah. Over the process of my time on the council, I know we've had Lynn Norman, who had no need for it. If I misspeak, you guys will correct me, but Lynn Norman, none. Of course, Steve was in the ward, and then he had no use for it. I think Terry Wheeler was on it.
He still has.
Still, which, yeah, and that's, and to that point, there are some of our older people who still have access to that through the system.
Wouldn't affect that at all.
No, but
Would not affect that at all.
just to make sure that the discussion, we want to address this because it, you know, I don't think most of us come on for health insurance, but I know as a, you know, when you're in a different scenario or you have another opportunity, it's not a big deal, but it is a benefit, one of the few benefits that council people get. The council people get $50 a month, so, and I've not had any trouble burning up what I get monthly, you know, as far as, I mean, it's just, so, but that's not, I don't know that I've ever had anybody say I'm running so I can get health insurance.
I'm not advocating that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's budgeted, we're facing tough times, we're not utilizing it, we need to take it out of the budget. So,
But
that's
your
fine.
amendment though, would that, if somebody new comes on, I mean, is that going to be something that will have to be looked at each time?
Each
or-
time.
Okay. I don't think that's necessarily a bad item when it's budgeted for. And so then basically, if I'm understanding correctly, to reword it, those that come on in January, if they say they would like it,
They'll have to come before the council.
do some kind of budget amendment. You have any thought on this?
No, I mean, it's to the pleasure of the council and the trustees. If you like to do that, we can make the adjustment and we will file it as you request.
That's my motion, to approve the budget with that amendment.
I'll second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Hewland?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Smith? Councilwoman Smith? And Mayor.
I think I'm going to abstain too. So, we have passed our budget resolution with that particular change in it, so that'll be something to deal with in the future if necessary. Any other questions or comments from council related to that? Any questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Let's see anybody. Let me back up here and go again. Consider renewal agreement with Multi-County Youth Services. And Steve, I'll let you speak to this.
Yeah, council, this is just a mirrored contract that you've done every year. The amount has been budgeted for $16,000. Been reviewed by city attorney. We would recommend that we would recommend that you approve this, and it's a great service that helps our youth and our law enforcement.
That's 50,000. That's 50,000.
16. 16,000.
That's what it's been.
Yeah, yeah.
I move we approve this.
And let it hang on just a second, guys. We have a star in the, a visitor. Yeah, she turns around. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you doing?
Very
We
well.
used to get $20,000, and then about 4 years ago, as you all will know, the budget cuts started, even with the city of Clinton, and also through the Office of Juvenile Affairs. So over a 2-year period, we lost over $240,000. And we have not been able to recoup that, because right now they feel like we're working off of what we're getting, and they're not going to return the funds that we had received in the past. But if it would be possible, it would help us out a lot if we could go back to the 20. But we do understand if you can't, and 16 would be great. I mean,
We'd be thankful for that.
yes, we would.
But also, last year compared to this year, we had an additional 85 admissions to this CFC. So the need is still there, and the need grows according to the numbers. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Miss Rose, it's fun to see the people you've seen several times that are coming back. So,
Do you think we possibly go to 20,000? They do a marvelous job. Can we go back to the 20?
We can go to 20, yes. I mean, and we support this program, so, yes, we can go to 20. I mean, we're always, this is what we talk about in contributions every year, that we want to review very closely, not just for this agency, but all the agencies that, we've had a good sales tax year. Our concern is water. This is not in the Public Works Department or authority. This is in the general fund, which has had good sales tax, so we could handle an issue of $4,000 this year.
Well, I'll amend my motion too.
second. If we go to 20 for multi-county, I would like to see us go to 20 also for Action Associates. There are 2 programs that are very beneficial. We've tried to link them together just from a standpoint of they both need funding. And if we're going to go to 20, and I have no problem with it, I think it's great. I think, but I would like to see us before we get too far into this.
Yes, for 16 well.
Yeah, they're both the same. They've been linked now for a few years here. So my input to this is we're going to go to 20 for multi-county, which I think is a great idea. I know they struggle to find funding. I would like to see us go to 20 also for Action
What do we
Associates.
think? Action
16. Yeah. And I know we get bang for the buck, because I know every year multi-county has more people than they had the year before, and I know every year Action Associates has more people than they had the year before. It seems like those needs go up. So that's the only input I would have to it. If we're going to do that, I'd like to amend it to where we
We already approved their contract.
Did they
I
actually ask for
have to
it?
apologize. I don't know if we've, I think their contract has not been in front of us since, it's not, hasn't it? So.
And what did they ask for? Action.
They asked for the same amount that we gave them last year, which I believe it was, it's 16,000, I believe it was the year before that we had the decrease from 20,000 to 16,000 in both of them.
we try to keep them coupled for obvious reasons. Those 2 programs both serve.
I personally would just like to see it stay where it was at. Look at this again next year. Steve had already included the 16,000 in the budget, and that was my understanding, is that was what was negotiated previously. And maybe next year look at an increase, so that way it gives staff an opportunity to look at that a little bit.
Any comments or questions from council?
I think if Action Associates had known there was a possibility they could have got 20, I think they would have requested 20. The need is great.
Well, I personally think the need is great. You know, we all know the state's cut back on what they're doing. And I just think with the increase workload that they had,
back to the 20.
Yeah,
That's
for
where we
those,
were.
for those two, I definitely agree, those two.
Well, I'll make the motion that we do both at 20,000.
I'll second that.
One second here. Well, I think what we need to do first, I think we need to vote on this particular contract
Okay,
with that,
and then
with
bring the
the
other
price,
one
and then bring the other one,
Back.
and I'll bring the other one back to you as an agenda item.
We could vote on that.
Yes, I'll bring the other one back to you in a
Well, let's
couple
do it
weeks.
on action. I'll
Okay.
make the motion on Boston County that we increase the amount to 20,000.
Second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith? Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
I want to leave where it was at, I'm going to go ahead and vote no.
And Mayor?
Yes. Appreciate the discussion there. I think we'll work through it the best we can. I know what you guys do. I know you do it with fewer dollars, it seems like every year, so we appreciate the effort you put forward. We're very blessed to have multi-county in Western Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Next action item, consider resolution number 804, adopting the Custer County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Steve?
Council, this is something you're probably familiar with. You've had these passed in previous years, and a new one is in front of us tonight, resolution. This is important for future grants, but it's also very important because this allows all the agencies in Custer County to work together in event. It actually helps when there is a disaster or some type of emergency. We're working well together and to resolve those issues. So it's, I can tell you firsthand, these are very important. So we strongly support this, and as you've done in the past with the county, we appreciate what the county is doing to put this together. So we recommend resolution 804.
Questions from anyone on the council? Questions from anyone in the audience? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 804.
I'll move. I'll move. Second, or whatever.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff? Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Next action item, consider supplemental budgets for the capital improvement fund. And we have several here. You want to just take these all as one or individually?
Yeah, no, I think she can cover all as one, and then we'll just vote on it individually at that point. Deborah?
Same thing on these, the majority of the information on these is the same thing. It's the sales tax coming in a little bit more. I didn't quite increase the appropriations enough to cover the transfers out that we have to do to meet that pledging requirement. On the capital improvement fund, I did include budgeting a little bit of the portion of the fund balance because we chose to pay off those master lease issues and the Durapatch equipment lease. We had some leases at multiple places. We did that earlier this year to get those paid off and save the interest since we were earning such a small amount of interest on investments. So we took some of the money out of the investments and turned around and paid those leases off. I waited till the end of the year to see if we were going to be able to cover those within our appropriations before actually getting, and we got down to the point where we need to do some appropriating of the fund balance to fix that.
Thank you, Deborah. Other comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve the supplemental budget items for the capital improvement fund, 4th Cent Acme Park Fund, sales tax, police department, fire department, construction.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Next action item, consider bids on agricultural lease of approximately 240 acres at Burns Flat.
What do we have to put bids on that?
Close.
Come down to. I thought we'd get at least 5 bids.
That was good. Bid on the land lease, Kevin Nightingale, $3,250 per year. And that is the bid we have for the Burns Flat land we're putting up for lease.
What do you bid last time?
I don't recall.
Is that what you bid last time? Yes.
So,
I move we accept.
Second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
And Mayor?
yes, we appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you. shall consider transfer of property on South 8th Street to the Clinton Industrial Authority. We've been through this, I would entertain a motion to transfer this property on South 8th Street to the Clinton Industrial Authority.
Second.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. You have a report for the Clinton City Council.
One small report, council. This Thursday, Today in America will be here filming all day, filming what's going on at Clinton, and we're excited to have them out here. And so they'll be interviewing a few different people, we're going to do projects and things that are making us a little better than every other community out there. So we're excited to have them here.
Looking forward to that. Any questions for anyone?
Can I make a small request based on the information that Don brought up a while ago about the approving the budget with that slight change? Would it be, if it would be the council's pleasure if they would accept this, that we shift those dollars that he's talking about? We split that between water, wastewater, and solid waste. 30% water, 30% sewer, 40% solid waste is how we pay for that insurance. Would it be all right with the council if, rather than changing our bottom line budget numbers, if I just shift that into the contingency line rather than in the line that's appropriated in currently? Okay.
Great.
Hey, great.
That's no problem. Any questions for the city manager from the council?
Well, I'd like to commend Steve. I'm really pleased with the bids that we've got on the fire station, because, I know you better look those over, but that load sure looks within the money.
Yes, it's very close. I think we can make that work. We're excited about that.
Any other comments or questions from council? Any comments or questions from anyone in the audience? This will be your opportunity, if you have anything under the city of Clinton, to bring it up, ask questions, or make a statement. Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council.
Councilwoman Smith? Councilman Marcy? Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.